I greet you folks. Welcome to another program in the series Homo Politicus. And we're reaching you from the stable of Enterprise Television. Okay then, I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Welcome. Cost of presidential jet headed for supplementary budget. 3 presidential aircraft up for sale. Now, in many countries, air transport for country heads and their deputies are the responsibilities of those countries. In Nigeria, where there appears to be an air of secrecy and therefore suspicion owing to an overwhelming cloak of secrecy in official things, acquiring a new aircraft from Mr. President raises dust. Sources close to the presidency disclose that the cost of a new presidential jet is to be included in the 2024 supplementary budget. Please note there are currently 6 aircraft in Nigeria's presidential fleet. As a country where suspicion like a weed keeps growing big and bigger, the need to explain things before they are blown out of proportion cannot be overemphasized. Recall that in April this year, the president was forced to fly a commercial airliner to Saudi Arabia owing to a faulty presidential jet. Let's go there. Let's open the bag, or as they say, let's tear the bag, just so you know. My discussants remain the gentlemen you already know and appreciate. Let's meet Cyril Abaku. Cyril Abaku is a broadcaster and a communications expert. He's a gentleman. Cyril, I greet you.
Thank you, Citizen Jones. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Akin Fatunke is also here. Akin is a chartered accountant and a public affairs analyst. Akin, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, gentlemen, a presidential jet, buying a presidential jet for Mr. President has raised dust in my country. Not unsurprising. Or is it? Not surprising, rather.
Oh, well. may I take the lead then?
Take the lead off.
Yeah, sure. So the current Air Force One, as far as I'm aware, which is in use, which has been in use since the Obasanjo days, purchased by former President Olusegun Obasanjo at the cost of $43 million. We're being told now that it had become faulty, and for the mere fact that they're about to buy a new one only goes to show that they've come to the conclusion that it is beyond repair. But again, aviation experts will tell you very easily that aircraft get better with the years. So this is some kind of paradox and irony of some kind, which, to my own knowledge, the presidency perhaps hasn't really come out to explain what the issues with the current jet is and why it needs to be changed. But we did see 2 instances, especially one when the president went to the Netherlands, and on his onward trip to Saudi Arabia, he had to leave it and charter a jet. And then again, we come back to last week or 2 weeks ago when he was traveled to South Africa for the inauguration of President Ramaphosa, in which case he also had to charter a flight after he had used, I think, Air Force One to come to Lagos. Two things I'm going to say. One is, for a government to so willingly and happily go and put hands into its override fund to buy a presidential jet for Mr. President, the question would be, it's like borrowing. So when you want to borrow, do you borrow into an asset or you borrow into liability? There's an accountant that he will help us make sense of that. Number 2 is, even the monarch, the King of England, flies does not have a private jet. He flies British Airways. My thinking is, why don't we carefully sit down and plan? How many trips is Mr. President going to embark upon in a year? The United Nations General Assembly Conference, World Economic Forum, and the number of other meetings, strategic meetings that he has to attend. Which one pays us better? Out of 10, not 6, out of 10, a 10 fleet presidential jet, we hear that they want to sell 3. It is not today that said that under Buhari that wanted to sell 1 or 2. The buyer came and supposedly underpriced it, so they didn't sell. Tinubu, after they sent about 4,000 delegates to which conference was that in Dubai? 4,000 plus delegates. When they came back, there was an outcry. They put up one of the jets and said they wanted to sell it. Nobody came to buy, or maybe I don't know what happened, but nobody bought so far. So to say they want to sell 3 and buy 2 or buy 1 is not really the argument. The argument is, how does the purchase of a new aircraft meet our strategic objective as a country? We are now going to put it on, which means this year they're going to buy a new jet. It was not planned. It was not pre-planned. We don't know what's wrong with the old one or the current one, and they're going to dip their hands into the sovereign wealth fund of Nigeria. That's like depleting our money for what, for me, doesn't really look like an emergency.
Okay, the American president flies what is known as Air Force One, and the Air Force One goes for repairs. In this case, C and D, when the need arise, they do go for repairs. Nigeria shouldn't be an exception if we start from that angle.
And it hasn't been an exception. The only difference between Air Force One and what we have in here is that whereas the former has transparency about it, in terms of who bids for what is going to happen, including the technical people that must be a kind of a closed circuit in Nigeria. It's job for the boys, a job for the politicians. No transparency, no accountability, like the industry that I belong to, which is the oil and gas, our refineries go for turnaround maintenance, supposed to be due. Either money is released and it's whacked, or the money is not released on time, and things go babas. Please, on the main subject, I like to say to myself and to my fellow countrymen that please beware of the Ides of March. Citizen Jones, is not so much whether it is right or wrong to go purchase or go get a presidential jet, which in itself, from our procurement practices, always shrouded in corruption of the deepest corruption. It's also looking at the kind of timing. I am afraid that if my country, Nigeria, is not yielding to the tickling bell that is tolling
For who?
for my country, is going on around the continent of Africa.
What's that?
And
what
that
bell,
is
what bell is this?
the bell of alarm that the poor will turn to swallow the rich. I think it's quite insensitive. I will also say that apart from the Air Force One that you rightly mentioned, Citizen Jones, I also know that we have world leaders who go on commercial jets, commercial planes.
Yes.
By choice.
By choice. That
choice.
That choice is born out of the fact that you cannot be asking people to be tightening their belts. And when it comes to you wanting to fly, I'm not saying you should not fly. Now, Citizen Jones, the other aspect of this is, so we had a Boeing 737, and like Cyril just made a test statement here, it's not so much the age.
May I draw a parallel here?
You may even have them for longer periods. And when you have them for longer periods,
let me draw a parallel here. Some state governors, including a former state governor of mine, have bought aircraft. It raised dust in those states. So Aki, if you were a governor, you were flying from your state capital to Abuja. If there is a plane there at your beck and call, you'd rather fly a commercial aircraft to Abuja?
yes, I will. Because I want to lead, I don't want to rule.
All right.
Pure and simple. I will, and I'll be very happy to do that.
Many of our big men of God in this country have bought jets.
Yes.
And people have challenged that idea. And they have defended the the jet.
Because they are defending the indefensible. Look, my point is simple, and I keep my peace here. I said, let's beware of the eyes of March. He's getting to a stage where the eruption, remember 2020, the NSAS, is going to be 20 to 30 times. What is happening in Kenya is after the Kenyan president.
Well, the Kenyan president has waved, raised the olive branch.
No. He has raised the olive branch, but
he has cancelled the bill, the controversial
but the
bill.
protesters says they will still continue. You see, when you set these kind of things in motion, to try and stop it might be very difficult. So we need to be very, very careful. We have to be very, very careful.
Okay, the experts have told us, have said a spirit of suspicion is not a gift of discernment.
It is not.
We belong in a country that suspects so many things.
Yes, because we are
and we don't verify things.
No. We don't trust. We don't trust.
Essentially, because your country, my country, is a country of conspiracy theories and theories.
Based on the fact that there is no smoke without fire. Pure and simple. If there is no smoke, I will not, if there is no fire, I will not be saying smoke. Each time in this country, in all aspects of our endeavor, there is always something by some of these people that are ruling us. They become so insensitive. We are in a situation where we are borrowed and we have a new hope agenda that is supposed to be looking at the next level. But what did we see? They are buying private jets, they are buying private SUVs.
May I drop this here? The last but one president mooted the idea of
selling.
Not selling now. Starting a flag carrier for Nigeria, using planes in the presidential fleet. That didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I know the reason why it didn't happen.
No,
Adi Soyika is still alive, and the thing is still a subject of probe deliberately. So we know we can get results.
Why did it not happen?
Because of corruption.
Coming from where?
From the aviation ministry at that time, with the active convenience of the president of the country at that time. And a lot of money went down the drain. We see it all the time, and you expect us to trust? No, we can't. No, we can't.
Aki, we are always paid for our suspicion, by finding what we suspect. Now, just a minute. In the presidential fleet, we are told some craft are faulty. I am not an aviation expert. The experts have said it is faulty. So we wait for somebody to...
I can help you, Citizen Jones here.
Please help us here.
Let me just come in. Between 2016 and now, we've spent a whopping 86 billion naira maintaining presidential aircraft.
Paid to who? We know who these monies are paid to politicians. Of course.
And we are not getting value for money. I'm not privy to that. So I can't say yes.
Is enough. And then we spend...
Politicians standing as front.
Number two, the vice president also came out and said that he had wanted to travel to America but couldn't go at last minute because the presidential aircraft was faulty. Now,
yes.
The presidency didn't first say that they wanted to buy aircraft. It was the House of Reps subcommittee. I don't know how many aviation people were there that recommended in the first place that they needed to buy new aircraft for the president. Now, like I said, who are the experts who sat? What exactly is the fault with the presidential aircraft?
And it's
not classified.
Let us audit. It's something to audit. When we audit, we'll be able to now then...
Gentlemen,
this is not...
Is the lifestyle of Mr. President not important?
It is not Mr. President's life.
No. Is the safety of Mr. President not important to us?
The answer to that is it is. However, not at the cost of burning Nigeria. Nigeria is sitting on a tentacle, Senator Jones.
Exactly.
Nigeria is sitting in a tentacle. In any case, this supplementary budget, let's see. I'm ready to look. It doesn't matter if they go ahead and buy this presidential jet or not. I want to see what the National Assembly will do. I'm going to see what Mr. Akpabio, as the president of National Assembly, along what he said about it not too long ago, he's going to do. Is he going to approve and say because of the life of Mr. President, what happened to our other lives? What happened to the lives of ordinary Nigerians who are going on private jets? It is not going to hurt. My idea, it's not going to hurt if you show example and say, look, you know what? I'm going to take 3 square meals a day. But for now, I'm going to take 1.
And for that matter,
And it's not going to, by taking 1 square meal, it's not going to kill
for
you.
that matter, I will not fly again.
No. You can fly.
Oh, really?
There are alternatives available for you to fly in the first place.
Alternatives like
I'll give you an example.
going on an eagle back.
I will give you an example.
Am I pulling your leg?
My brother is making a statement here that the whole world knows. Mr. President wants to go for COP29, COP30 and stuff like that, and they carry the whole
4,000.
We don't need that. That's not what we need, and that's the truth. And in any case, if there is something that needs to be done at Qatar, we have an ambassador in Qatar that can go represent us. We must begin to now do things so that people will now then see that we are doing. It's called efficiency. The life of Mr. President is not going to come down. I don't have a problem. Let's plan for this more beautifully. I want to see, look, Mr. St. Jones, I want to see this Mr. President and his ministers bring in a lot of money, make things work in this country, and therefore whatever it is, the revenue that we have, go and buy your jet. Not from going to borrow money and then you say because of that we are not going. I mean, and that is the truth. Why are the labor unions still on the stretches?
What we don't know does not hurt us. It is what we suspect that causes all the trouble.
It is a perception.
It's not suspicion.
It is a perception.
If you want,
there is emotional intelligence. 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 8. And we cannot continue this way. Beware of the eyes of man. It will set a ball rolling that will not be able to control. Or look at the Kenyan example. The situation is the youths are now saying, Ruto, get out of the way. For what? And here is a president who is now then trying to curtail, who is now trying to, to call back. Unlike what we have in Nigeria.
But I must tell you that in Bolivia, a retired general has been arrested for plotting to unseat the president. If you must unseat a sitting president, let it be a political, let it take a political
legal route rather.
What is the legal route that perhaps we have?
Not route, not route. We wait until 2027. No, that's when the next presidential election is coming.
The democracy
we don't have midterm elections that will remove a president.
The democracy or democracy that we are practicing, Citizen Jones, has checks and balances. Now,
I'm not an aviation expert. I'm not, so what I don't know here.
We have the National Assembly that should serve as a control. And if National Assembly does not serve as a control, then hopes are lost. We must say the truth here.
The National Assembly is supposed to oversight the presidency.
So we are waiting.
So let's wait for the National Assembly to do its job.
Except that I am hearing, you can call it another rumor, I'm hearing that this National Assembly is a rubber stamp. Yes or no? I don't know. But we see.
Are you a member of the National Assembly?
Oh, well, I have members of the National Assembly.
Who report to you?
Who are supposed to be reporting to me. Yes. And I have seen them.
But they are not.
And I've seen them in some of the pronouncements I've made. I didn't send somebody to the National Assembly to go and buy SUVs. I didn't. I couldn't have done that. I'm stating the fact. I am paid. I am paid because if we are not careful,
if you are not careful, seek redress. A TV station like this molds opinion
and tell the truth to power.
The truth is subjective.
I am telling the truth to power. I know what I am talking
subjective.
About. Not too long ago, I saw what happened in Kenya. I don't want that to happen to my country.
We mold opinion and allow opinion makers to make use of them.
Yes,
that's an assumption that they have ears to hear.
So, Citizen Jones, I was going to add that you said earlier we have to wait on 2027 to oust the president. Well, the discussion is not on ousting Mr. President.
No. We are talking about. We are making statements that are connected to the issue.
But in a general sense, where it is.
Our brother here is talking about the Ides of March
Yes.
in late June.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we
also have Ides of May, June, and July.
okay.
And
Good.
August and September.
Okay, good. So, but where I was going to
The
was
Ides,
Charles.
let me also tell him the Ides are here, but they are not gone.
Yes. So
They are not
when-
exactly. Well, we seem to be saying the same thing. They are not.
No,
lost.
we are not.
I hope those who have ears let them let them
hear
hear.
what
As we speak, I know it may not be related. As a television outlet, we have a responsibility to make people who seem not to see to see.
Yes.
Because when NSAS was going on, there were a lot of undercurrent. We said, please, certain things should not happen. Certain things do not happen. They didn't take to it until we found ourselves the way we
Okay,
are.
NSAS specifically addressed police brutality.
Governance
So hold on. We are talking about
presidential
a
jet.
presidential jet here.
Yes, presidential jet.
And except you are convincing me, Mr. President of Nigeria should not fly anymore.
No, I have said Mr.
Oh,
President can fly,
okay.
and I can show them how he can fly without necessarily buying the presidential jet. because
without
we need to
going
build the
by
truck- we need to build the
without
truck
going
system.
by air.
no,
It's going to go. It's going to go. It's going to be by air. It's going to be by air.
What I said earlier, right, Citizen Jones?
The timing is wrong.
Very wrong.
Unfortunately,
it's inauspicious.
It's the truth.
The president, see, look, there can be careful planning of the president. Sometimes, if you wrote, imagine that you wrote a letter to the presidency now, inviting the president to anywhere, don't tell they should have sent that letter 3 months or 1 year ahead of time, because he normally has his schedule already packed
You've
up.
got to plan.
Good. So, how many trips is he going to make overseas next year? You can enter into an agreement with a commercial airline, and it will be sorted. All right. Then,
Low hanging fruit.
you can actually sell off the
Commercial airline which government will pay.
Sure, of course.
Can I?
Okay, and we will keep quiet.
Can
We
I-
will
Deal.
No.
and we will not ask what's happening with the presidential
It
fleet.
is short term. I know what is happening with the presidential fleet. We promised that those presidential fleets ought to have been sold by the previous regime. We were all alive when we saw some of those planes carrying children and daughters and sons
Akin,
of presidents elsewhere. And you expect us to now then say we open our eyes and still take hard-earned money to go and buy additional ones so you can go and be taking, I don't want to use the word concubines.
Okay,
It's unfortunate.
you have used it, whatever it means. But I know we are always paid for our suspicions by finding out what really is.
All right.
We have not heard the last word on this matter. Akin and Cyril, none of you is an aviation expert. I'm not one. I don't know how.
No.
Oh, you are.
Yes, please. In a manner of speaking. My
No.
background,
You are either one or you are not.
my background is ExxonMobil, and as part of ExxonMobil, what comes under my ambit is the chopper. And that chopper, it goes through regular maintenance. We have a chopper that we have been using for the past 35 years. That we maintain in a way and safe and manner. The pilot is well trained, and it has never come down for once.
No. Do you fix them? Does the chopper go on repairs?
Maintenance.
And those maintenance are done with transparency, with equity, with all eyes open. It's not going to be left for the aviation section alone. There is something you call operations integrity management system. It is the system that you have that will not make you see planes fall down from the sky all the time, because any mistake upstairs there, you are gone. So it happens.
You and I will remember that in Rwanda, President Habyarimana, the first Hutu-born president,
His plane came down.
His plane came down.
Yes.
And so it could have been avoided.
And the jury is out.
No, but of course.
And what happened? What happened after that?
That
was an assassination.
That could have been contrived.
What happened? What happened
That
after
was an
that?
assassination. Because let it work.
The country went into blazes.
Citizen Jones, if you are not liked by your people, like Anwar Sadat, members of your bodyguard will even be the one that will do you in. Go and buy this presidential jet. And people feel that they are hungry. People feel that it is not the priority. They may go ahead and plant something in there. We have really not safeguarded what we thought we want to do.
All right.
My point is simple. Please Mr. President, we love Mr. President. I hope Mr. President listens to this. I hope he hears this. My advice, please shelve this. If you refuse to shelve it, then the National Assembly should do what is normal. They are putting their ears to the ground. They are hearing all of the things that are happening. You are not going to die, Mr. President. If there are people surrounding you who don't know how you will fly to specific places, we are available and we are going to do it. Mr. President, you came from the oil and gas. I know that you know that there are ways to do these things.
Ways and means. Cyril, how do you take this home?
No, so my simple take home is this. Let us undertake careful planning. All right. How many times is the president going to fly between now and next year? Within that period, let's sell off the old fleet. If at all, it must be sold anyway. Sell them off. Then use the money from that from the sale.
So buy a. Do you know how much it's going to?
It's better that way.
Do you know how much a Gulfstream is? Not some of these people they do. Gulfstream. We even have a Gulfstream in there. It's not going to cost an arm and a leg. If that is what we need, please, we don't need it for your wife. We don't need it for your children. We don't need it for your accolades. Let's begin to go lean in a situation where Nigeria is lean now and we are not earning enough revenue. A time will come, Mr. President. In fact, if you want to go in double jet, Nigeria will be able to afford it and say, yes, we are behind this. But for now, unfortunately, the jury is out that it is not in the best interest of this country that for you to go there. Maximum wage or minimum wage.
We'll apply the brakes here.
Yes, sir.
Not before thanking you for your time, Akin Fatuke.
Thank you very much.
And Cyril Abaku.
Always a pleasure.
Have been my discussants. Cost of presidential jet headed for supplementary budget. 3 presidential aircraft up for sale. Let the debate continue from your part of town until we come your way again. This is Citizen Jones Hussein saying thank you for watching. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.